So here, let's start. You're living in Medicine Hat. You're 18 years old, and you hop in the car with your mom and your mom's best friend, and you're going to Nashville. That's what everybody does at 18 years of age, right?
No. All of my friends were going to university, and I decided to take a bit of a different path. And I had moved to London, Ontario, because it was closer to Nashville than Medicine Hat. I worked that out in my mind. And my grandparents were there, so I'd have a free place to stay. So I stayed in London, Ontario for about 6 months, and my mom's best friend, Pat, called her from Toronto, and she had come down to visit me. And she said, Linda, we got to get Terri down to Nashville. She's depressed. She wants to chase this dream. And we had been trying to get a green card in every way that we possibly could, and we couldn't do it. So we just went, well, to hell with it. We're just going to go and see what happens. So we drove down, packed my guitar, and everything I owned used to fit in the back seat of a Honda Civic. I don't know what happened, but I bet you guys all feel the same way. Every time you move, you're like, boy, this wasn't this way at one time. And we drove to Nashville, crossed the border, and the customs guy says, where are you ladies headed? And Pat looks at him and goes, the Grand Ole Opry. Because he saw the guitar in the back seat. And we got there, and just, it was a scary time, but it was also a very exciting time. And Nashville was not the city that it is today, that all the glamour and glitter that it is, and people moving in droves to Nashville. And Lower Broadway was very dangerous. And we went into Tootsie's Orchid Lounge just as tourists, and I walked out with a gig playing down there and singing for tips after getting up and sitting in with the guy that was doing his shift there. So that's where it all started.
And this is how bright she was, because the guy, it was her mom, finally got up and said, my daughter plays. Do you want to take a break? And they were the only 3 people at Tootsie's, right? You were the only ones there.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so she played for 6 hours, and he took her tip jar.
Yeah. His shift. His tip jar.